Hey guys, so I'm back in Canada right now, and my dad gave me a huge stack of DVDs from my childhood and asked me, Paul, can you please get rid of all of these DVDs? They're taking up so much space, and I agree with him. It's about time that I get rid of these DVDs because they do take up space, and I'm more of a Blu-ray guy now anyway, so fuck it. I'm still holding on to these DVDs. We're at 4K right now. Yeah, it's about time I get rid of them, but the only thing is, I have a very sentimental attachment to some of these DVDs, so I figured, you know what? I do need to get rid of them on one hand, but I kind of don't on the other hand. I'm gonna go through these and just do a video. Maybe, hopefully, I can immortalize them in my brain. Maybe whenever I'm nostalgic about DVDs in 40 or 50 years, I can look back at this video and be like, ah, yes, I remember those DVDs. So I have a gin and tonic right here. Okay. That's a gin and a tonic, okay. So, yeah, I'm gonna go through these DVDs. We can chew the fat a bit. This is gonna be a more laid-back video. And yeah, let's just talk about these DVDs. I have a stack here. I also have this huge box here. Don't ask why it's a diaper box, but here it is. Alright. Yeah. So let's go through these. First DVD I have here is Return of the Jedi, which I reviewed on this channel actually, but this is the DVD version, and the version I reviewed was the Peter Harmey Despecialized edition, so I no longer need this DVD because I already paid for the movie. I got the Despecialized one. The interesting one here is Star Wars Episode 3. I do need to upgrade the Star Wars prequels to Blu-ray. And a lot of people are like, oh, the prequels, they're shit, yada yada yada. I still have some sentimental value to these prequels. I remember my dad bought me episodes 1 and 2 on DVD, and then episode 3 we went to watch in the cinema. So it was the first Star Wars movie I saw in the cinema was episode 3, and it was pretty epic when you're a kid. That fucking lava fight. I know people bitch about how overly choreographed it is. That was never really a problem to me. I always thought that battle was cool. And yeah, it's just the problems in this movie are the problems with the other prequels. The dialogue is a little lame. The love story is kind of shit. But I feel like Revenge of the Sith, whenever I watch Revenge of the Sith, I hate it. But then like a month goes by and I kind of have some sentimental value for it. I got this double feature here of Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. I love this trilogy of movies. Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, The World's End. I have The World's End on Blu-ray, the other two on DVD. I'm going to upgrade the other two to DVD. I got this DVD here. Last night, the last days of Pompeii. This is a DVD my dad got me because when I was, I'd say around 13, I was deeply fascinated with Roman history, and he knew that. So he bought this black and white movie. I don't think he knew what he was buying, because, yeah, I thought it was kind of boring, to be honest, when I was a kid and I watched this, but I have zero recollection of what this movie is, so I can't really judge it, but yeah. Family Guy. There's a lot of Family Guy here on DVD. Here are my thoughts on Family Guy. A lot of people shit on Family Guy. A lot of people love Family Guy. I'm kind of in between. What I like about Family Guy is that it's kind of just like a normal sitcom, but with cartoons. And a lot of people say South Park is better, but South Park doesn't get me that same feeling. Like, I like the episodes of Family Guy where it just feels like a sitcom. It opens with all of them sitting on a couch, then a bunch of scenarios ensue, then it ends with all of them sitting on the couch. I kind of like that format. It has a very traditional format to it. And the episodes I like are the episodes where they're like, oh, this episode we're just going to recreate Shawshank Redemption, but with Family Guy characters. It kind of reminds me of, like, old school cartoons when they do that. So when Family Guy is old school, but with a little more raunch, I like it. It's just as the series progresses, it's not as much a cartoon sitcom as it is just a silly cartoon. But the episodes I like are the ones that kind of stick to that kind of traditional format. I don't hate Family Guy. I don't love Family Guy. But it holds a special place in my heart. Because when you're fucking 14 years old and you watch this shit on TV, you're like, how the fuck did they get away with this? You know? And it's something we take for granted now. And it's a feeling a lot of people got when The Simpsons came out, but I was born a little past The Simpsons. This was like my Simpsons. I was like, how the fuck is this on TV? So I respect it for that. Yeah. Just like any show, as the series goes on, the episodes kind of run out of ideas. Eastbound and Down. I have season 2 on DVD. And this is the season where Danny McBride's character is stuck in Mexico. He goes to Mexico for the whole season. My brother especially really loves Eastbound and Down. He's seen every episode. I've seen maybe for the first 3 seasons, if I remember correctly. I like it quite a bit. It's a really good TV show. If you guys haven't seen Eastbound and Down, I'm not much of a TV guy. That's why I haven't seen the whole series. I don't really stick with TV shows all that much, but this one is fucking funny. Has some good bits. You know, it's the best bit of season 2, by the way. I remember this fondly on the DVD. Is when we're introduced to Kenny's dad, who's played by Don Johnson, and he says,
"Same old Kenny. 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. And friends with faggots."
The line delivery of that is so fucking perfect. I love that. That's a great moment in season 2, I just remembered. Next we got Spider-Man 2. Guys, this DVD is a classic. I probably ran the shit out of this DVD when I was a kid because I fucking loved Spider-Man 2. And I like the other 2 Spider-Man movies, but growing up I never had the other 2 on DVD. I only had Spider-Man 2 on DVD for some reason. But yeah, you can see the inside here. You got Spider-Man, then you got Dr. Octopus's claw. Yes, I need to upgrade the whole trilogy to Blu-ray. I don't have Spider-Man 3 on physical media, and this one's on DVD. I think I have Spider-Man 1 on Blu-ray, actually, so I need to upgrade that, maybe get a trilogy box set. Naked Gun. This was one of my favorite comedies when I was a kid. This is the 3rd Naked Gun movie, which is called Naked Gun 33 1/3. Yeah, it is what it is. What I like about Naked Gun 3 especially, it's the worst of the 3 movies. I think everyone can agree on that. That said, it just feels like... I was listening to the DVD commentary on this one, and the Zucker brothers said that Naked Gun 3 is basically... They had a ton of jokes that they didn't use in the last 2 movies, and they decided to just shovel it and throw it into this movie. And it kind of feels like that, which is why I kind of respect this movie for being such an afterthought, I guess. Yeah, I love Leslie Nielsen. He's a Canadian gem. I love the Naked Gun movies. Guys, did this movie scare the fucking shit out of me when I was a kid? The thing that scared me the most was in the beginning song, the This Is Halloween song. There's someone living under the stairs who says,
"I am the one hiding under your stairs, fingers like snakes and spiders in my hair."
That guy fucking scared me for some reason. That shot scared me. It's burnt in my memory. But other than that, guys, Nightmare Before Christmas is probably one of the best, if not the best, stop motion movie ever made. It's just, damn. And it's hard to believe this is a Disney movie too. Is it a Disney movie? I can't remember if... I think it's a Disney movie. If it is a Disney movie, I'll give them props because they really took a risk on that one. Woo! Monsters, Inc. I have a lot to say about Monsters, Inc., actually. Whenever I see people review Monsters, Inc., they're always like, it's a more kiddie Pixar movie, which I never understood why people say that. I feel like maybe Bug's Life is a more kiddie Disney movie, and I definitely feel like Toy Story is more kiddie than Monsters, Inc. The ending of Monsters, Inc., I don't think resonates with kids as much as it does with adults. I feel like people overlook Monsters, Inc. I think it's probably one of the best Pixar movies. That's just me anyway. And yeah, you'll notice on these DVD covers, by the way, that there's always the title in English and the title in French. So in English it's called... Oh, well, it's called Monsters, Inc. in both languages. No, sorry, actually in French it's Monstre, Inc. But yeah, whenever you see these DVD covers, you're going to see the French and the English title. Because there's actually a law in Quebec that you can't sell a product unless the font of the French title is the same as the font of the English title. Which, don't ask. Don't ask. It's just the way it works. But it does add a little charm to these DVDs because I did buy them in Quebec, my homeland, so... I got bonus materials, a whole DVD of bonus materials for Star Wars. A lot of behind the scenes of that. Ice Age. This is going way back, but Ice Age, the first movie on DVD. Yeah, what can I say about Ice Age? It's kind of crazy how they keep making sequels to Ice Age, and it literally has no more meaning. Like, I grew up with the first Ice Age movie. Whenever I see an Ice Age sequel come out, I'm like, who the fuck is gonna watch that? Everyone who grew up with the first movie is my age now. But, and even the stars. It stars Ray Romano, John Leguizamo, and Dennis Leary. Who the fuck knows any of those three people in 2021? Especially Dennis Leary. I thought people don't like him anymore because he plagiarized jokes. My Left Foot. Yeah, I remember watching this movie, actually. I watched it with my mother. And actually, my school used to do like these award things where at the end of the year, the person with the highest score got awards for each class. And I actually won the drama class award, and this was my drama teacher that bought this as my award. He gave me a bundle of DVDs. I'm sure we'll find other of those DVDs in the stack, but yeah, I remember watching My Left Foot with my mother. And it's kind of a depressing watch. It's not one that I'd watch often. It's an uplifting story for sure, but the poor guy's got it rough. And Daniel Day-Lewis's performance is just too accurate, to a fault, in my opinion. Not to a fault. It's just like I'm not gonna pop in My Left Foot as casually as like a Star Wars movie. But that said, it's still a good movie, My Left Foot. Okay, I have a bunch of these kind of DVD cases. This is, so, I'm not going to put this part because it says my approximate address. But this is from the video rental store that's close to my street. And they had to shut down and they were selling all of their DVDs. So I went there and bought a bunch of DVDs for a couple of cents. This one apparently had Mad Max 2 The Road Warrior in it. But I open it and it's empty. So... I guess it doesn't have Mad Max 2 in it. I got another one here. Let's see if this has anything. Nope, it's also empty. This one is supposed to have Méga Requin contre... Yeah, it's the title's in French. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I have all of the Indiana Jones movies on DVD, and that's one of those DVDs. I watched a ton of fucking Indiana Jones when I was a kid, because my dad was a huge Indiana Jones fan too. Which is weird, because my dad is not a Star Wars fan, but he loves Indiana Jones. I think it's because, like, space kind of lost him. My dad is a big Star Trek fan. It could be that too. The Trekkies don't like the Star Wars nerds. But, yeah... Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I watched this, I must have been like 6 years old when I saw this, probably even younger, and the face melting scene, when you watch that as a kid, bleh, it scares the shit out of you. And I want to do a test. My friends' kids are here, and the kids are about the age I was when I saw Indiana Jones, and I want to see how they react to Indiana Jones, because I think Indiana Jones is a perfect kids movie. Not saying it is a kids movie, but it's the perfect movie to show a kid because it's just such a fun adventure movie, and it's just very away we go on an adventure. It's very uplifting. I feel like kids really attach themselves to Indiana Jones. So I want to do a little test with the mother's permission, of course. I'm not going to show them a scene of people's face melting without her permission. This is a weird movie. Blood Work with Clint Eastwood. I can't remember anything about this movie other than the fact, and this is a spoiler for Blood Work, Jeff Daniels ends up being the bad guy. That's the only thing I remember from this movie. Oh, for some reason, the DVD inside is Inglourious Bastards. That's odd. But here's a little story about this DVD of Inglourious Bastards anyway. that DVD of Inglourious Bastards was my introduction to Quentin Tarantino. I thought the title was pretty badass, and I was at HomeSense with my dad. I must have been around 14 years old, and I don't know why I was at HomeSense, but I was at HomeSense with my dad, and there was a DVD of Inglourious Bastards. I don't know if there's HomeSense in America. There might be HomeSense, but it's basically a furniture store. So there was a DVD there. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are they selling DVDs here? And yeah, it was Inglourious Bastards. I bought it because the title was cool, and I was like, it's $1 in a furniture store. Sure, I'll buy it. And that's the moment I fell in love with Tarantino. The Miracle Maker, The Story of Jesus. This is like a stop-motion Jesus movie. It stars... Oh, wow, it has really good cast. So it stars Ralph Fiennes as Jesus, Julie Christie as Rachel, Richard E. Grant as John the Baptist, William Hurt as Jairus. Yeah, I don't know what this movie is. I remember watching this movie, and I remember it being kind of frightening, but that's kind of every stop-motion movie, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, William Hurt. Alfred Molina's in this. Okay. Yeah, has a really... I might have to check this one out just for nostalgia's sake. I can't remember... I might have to check this one out just for nostalgia's sake, but I can't really remember this movie. Interesting. We got the first and second Naked Gun movies here. Whole trilogy to me is funny. I know some people say that the sequels aren't funny. I like the sequels. Fuck you guys. Big. Yeah, I like Big. I'm not as crazy as some people on Big. It's a fun movie. This DVD is scratched. I'm probably not going to be able to sell this one. 9 Months with Hugh Grant. This was directed by Chris Columbus. I just remembered. This is my mother's movie. She kind of liked this movie. Yeah, it's Julianne Moore and Hugh Grant, and there's Jeff Goldblum and Robin Williams in this movie, and it's about a pregnancy. I can't remember if it's good or not, but I probably won't watch it anytime soon. The Grinch. Guys, I am a diehard defender of Ron Howard's Grinch movie. Everyone hates on the Grinch movie. And is it as good as the cartoon? Absolutely not. The cartoon is very iconic. You can't top the cartoon, but this movie is just so fucking weird. It has like a Tim Burton-y style to it, and you just have Jim Carrey running around in a hairy green suit. I don't know, there's a certain what the fuck charm to this movie that it draws me. It draws me. Just the character design of every character. Everyone has like that stupid look. I kind of like the Grinch movie. Fucking shoot me. What can I say? This is a Quebec classic. It's called La Grande Séduction. This is a movie about a guy who's a doctor who finds... Oh yeah, I remember the plot of this movie. This guy, he's a doctor, and he gets caught he gets a DUI or something, and he has to do community service, and his community service is to become a doctor in this very remote Quebec town that really nothing goes on in that town. And yeah, he adapts to the culture of this very, very, very small remote town. Yeah, this is a fun movie. It's a little schmaltzy. They did remake it. I think they remade it with, who's that actor? Fuck! Who's that actor? The dad of Domhnall Gleeson. Brendan Gleeson. Yeah, they remade it, but they had it take place in Eastern Canada, not in Quebec. Titanic 2, this is a movie I bought because, it was like a few pennies at at a video rental store when it was shutting down. DVD is not even in the case. This one's useless. Alright, next. The Polar Express. Yeah, DVD's inside. Let's see if it's scratched. Is it scratched? No, actually not that scratched, surprisingly enough. This is a DVD from my childhood. Lot of uncanniness in this movie. It's not a very pretty movie to watch in 2021. It's a little schmaltzy, I will admit it. But you know what? As a kid, I actually went to see this in 3D when I was a kid in cinemas. I went to Montreal. My dad drove me to Montreal to watch this in 3D. My dad was actually very, very much a fan of 3D, from what I remember. And he's not really into it now because the novelty kind of ran out. But I remember when the Avatar movie came out, James Cameron's Avatar, he actually called me in sick so he can go watch it with me. He pulled me out of class. He was like, hey, we gotta go watch Avatar. That's how much my dad was a fan of 3D. So I remember fondly seeing this movie in cinemas in 3D. I mean, I watched it like after I was a kid, I guess, and kind of doesn't really hold up, but I got the memories. What can I say? From Dusk Till Dawn, you'll see a lot of Tarantino in this because Tarantino's probably the filmmaker that got me interested in movies because he was like very edgy and gory and very violent, and his movies were very badass, and that kind of draws you into filmmaking when that shit happens. But this is From Dusk Till Dawn. I knew the twist going into this movie. A lot of people saw this movie when they saw it for the first time. They didn't know it was actually a vampire movie. I knew the twist. So I feel like it didn't hit as hard, but I wish I was one of those people who saw this movie without knowing it was a vampire movie. Sinbad. I have no recollection of this movie whatsoever, and look how scratched this is. This is not a good DVD. Surprisingly, it doesn't star Sinbad. They should have put Sinbad in the Sinbad movie. It stars Brad Pitt, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Joseph Fiennes. Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck is a household classic of ours, directed by the great John Hughes. It's a nice, charming comedy, I will say so. American Hustle. I need to rewatch this movie because I'm a big fan of David O. Russell. A lot of people... well, the DVD is not in the case, so whoops, that's not good. A lot of people aren't a fan of David O. Russell, or of this movie in specific. I really like this movie, from what I remember, but I need to rewatch it. People say it's overrated. I really love Silver Linings Playbook, and I rewatched that maybe a year ago. Actually, it was a year ago, because I watched it in February to review it for a love-a-thon. But I really like David O. Russell, and this... Jennifer Lawrence, as much as you want to shit on her, oh, she's arrogant, she's annoying, she plays the whole shtick about how she's an ordinary girl, yada yada yada. Say what you will about her, she's a fucking talented actress. You just gotta admit it, okay? You gotta admit it, she's really good in this movie too. Alright, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's a movie we watch every Christmas. Here's the DVD. I hate the DVD cases that are like a flimsy cardboard, though. I really don't like those. But, yeah. It's a classic. We actually watched it this Christmas as well, my family. We love National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This is a weird one. The Archies in Jugman. I have no recollection of watching this movie. What the fuck is this movie? So the Jugman looks like Jughead. So I'm guessing the plot is that a caveman comes back, or is like unfrozen or something, and people think that Jugman is Jughead. But I have zero recollection of watching this movie. I probably did watch it, but I have no recollection. Yes! This is what I'm talking about! This is what I'm fucking talking about. Toxic Avenger 4. No way I'm fucking giving this DVD away. It's a fucking classic. No way, Jose. And here's another one. Class of Nukem High. No way am I giving these movies. These are two trauma classics. Toxic Avenger 4, Class of Nukem High. Just so much fun, especially Toxic Avenger 4. I love Toxic Avenger 4. It's just such the goofiest plot ever. I love trauma movies. They just make me happy. I got Harry Potter 3 here. I have all my thoughts on Harry Potter 3 on my channel, so I don't really need to say much more. I have it on Blu-ray, no need This is one of those movies, Mega Shark. It's written in French, but it's called Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus. I don't like these movies. A lot of people are like, oh, they're so bad, it's good. To me, they don't... to me, when you compare it to a movie like Toxic Avenger, like, okay, both are schlocky, but this is such a better schlock than this, okay? This is just CG nonsense. It doesn't make me happy. And it's in on the joke. That's what I don't like. These Asylum movies, they're in on the joke. It doesn't make it as fun to watch. When a movie is unintentionally bad, not saying that Toxic Avenger is unintentionally bad, that's very intentional, but this movie is trying to be unintentionally bad, but it's intentional. It's fake. I don't buy it. It's phony. I don't trust phonies. I'm like, what's that book? Catcher in the Rye? That's what the main character kept repeating in Catcher in the Rye. I hate phonies. I hate phonies. The Burbs, I reviewed it on my channel. It's a classic. Oh, this is one of the DVDs that have little doors on them. You have to pop open the little doors, and then you can open the DVD. There we go. The Burbs. This DVD is pretty scratched, but I think it'll pass the test. Critters! I have zero memory of watching this movie. Critters. Sure. It's basically a Gremlins clone, but not as good. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. That's a pretty cool DVD. It's got Darth Maul's face on it. Yeah, this movie, even when I was a kid, I didn't really like Phantom Menace. I thought as a kid the coolest one was Episode 3. But Phantom Menace was pretty cool as a kid as well. The Darth Maul fight, I just kind of didn't understand the story when I was a kid. And I understood the story later when I became an adult, because it had to do with a lot of space politics. And people complain about the space politics, but I actually don't really mind the space politics. Yeah, it's weird. All of these Star Wars prequels, they got so much hate before Episode 7 came out, and then they got newfound respect, to the point where when Anakin Skywalker, the actor, Hayden Christensen, when he made the prequels, he was getting harassed on the internet, and now people are dying for him to return to a Star Wars movie, and he's returning in the Obi-Wan TV show. So, yeah, kind of weird how the world works like that, you know? Gets shit on, but then you get a little fond memories. I'm guessing you can say that the Star Wars prequels have developed a cult following. The Dark Knight on DVD. This one only has the DVD. It doesn't have the second disc, which is probably bonus materials. I like The Dark Knight. I don't like it as much as most people. People will say it's like a 10 on 10 movie. It's not a 10 on 10 movie to me. I don't really like Christian Bale's Batman. In this movie, anyway. I liked him a lot more in The Dark Knight Rises. I started getting more attached to him. But his portrayal of Batman is a little too cold, to the point I'm like, okay. I prefer Michael Keaton's Batman because his is cold as well, but more relatable, I guess. But Michael Keaton as Alfred. Michael Caine as Alfred is probably the best performance in these movies, as well as, of course, Heath Ledger's Joker. And Aaron Eckhart as Two-Face doesn't get enough credit in this movie. He does a really good job as Two-Face, Aaron Eckhart. I love Aaron Eckhart. I wish he did more movies. I love him in Thank You for Smoking. There we go. Alright, now we're moving on to this box. Don't knock down the camera. Yeah, that wasn't good. That was not good. Alright. I got a shitty DVD of Captain America, I guess. I watched this. This is a Captain America movie that was made for TV, and it wasn't good. It stars Christopher Lee, I believe. I think Christopher Lee is in this movie. Yeah, Christopher Lee is in this movie. I have no clue. I have zero recollection. I did watch it. I just can't remember a thing from it. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the Bond movie that isn't really a Bond movie. This movie too, I won it at the same time as I won my left foot at that in high school. But yeah, I'm gonna keep those just for souvenirs. I'm gonna keep those, I think. Yeah. Jackie Brown. I remember when I watched Jackie Brown for the first time. This is the last Tarantino movie. I saw all of Tarantino's movies. I kind of binged his whole filmography, and this is the last one I got to. And I was just kind of like, what the fuck was that movie? And I didn't really like it because when you're a teenager and you watch Tarantino movies, they're very flashy, the dialogue is very in your face, you like it. And this is a more subdued Quentin Tarantino movie. And everyone's kind of complaining that they're old and fat in this movie. And when you're 13, that's not something you can really relate to, I guess. But as I grow older, I start developing a fondness for Jackie Brown. And quite frankly, this is the movie that introduced me to Pam Grier. Made me want to... Who is this Pam Grier lady? She's so beautiful. I want to explore her other movies. And then I watched Coffee and Foxy Brown. And I was like... That's when I fell in love with her. And now she's my hot celebrity crush. Thank you, Mr. Tarantino. You introduced me to my future wife. Escape from New York. I don't know why the DVD is not in this. The Grand Budapest Hotel. This is probably top tier Wes Anderson movies. I love The Grand Budapest Hotel. Ah, yes, The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, and the DVD is green, and there's an ad for the TV series with Lou Ferrigno. Yeah, this is I remember I bought a ton of Marvel DVDs because I was a little late to the Marvel game. I remember the Avengers movie came out, and I hadn't seen any of the Marvel movies, and I was like, damn, it's about time I watched those, because the Avengers movie is coming out. So I have a lot of these on DVD. As for The Incredible Hulk, a lot of people don't like this one. I honestly think Edward Norton's Hulk is the best Hulk. A lot of people like Mark Ruffalo. I think Edward Norton's the best one. Yeah, it's what it is. It's The Incredible Hulk. I like this movie. It's kind of fun. It's a little dark compared to most Marvel movies. It takes itself a lot more seriously than most Marvel movies. And I think that's why I kind of like this movie. The stakes are kind of more real, yet being smaller scaled. Top 5. This is another movie I got for very cheap. It was only $3 when the video rental store was closing. I love this movie. This movie, it doesn't get enough credit. This is directed by Chris Rock, I believe, as well. This is a very fun movie. I love this movie. There's some great cameos in here as well. Leslie Jones is really good in this movie. A lot of people don't like Leslie Jones because of that shitty Ghostbusters movie. And despite her being the best part of that movie, I understand why people shit on the 2016 Ghostbusters movie because it was shit. But Leslie Jones in that movie, you should watch that movie. She'll win you back. Ah, yes. Talladega Nights. The Will Ferrell comedies were very popular in Paul's household. This was just a fun movie. I remember every time I watch this movie, I'm always taken aback because Michael Clarke Duncan is acting his fucking ass off in this movie. And it's a stupid Will Ferrell comedy, but yet he's like,
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby! Don't you put that on us!
He's really acting his ass off. This is one of my favorite Will Ferrell comedies because it's kind of poking fun at like American consumerism culture. Yet it's poking fun at it, but it's not preachy. It's kind of paying homage to it while poking fun at it. Yeah, there's that whole part where he's like, he doesn't want to admit that crepes are good. I like this movie. I really like this movie. This is a fun time. DVD's still intact. No scratches. Still gonna give it up. I'll probably upgrade it to Blu-ray. This is Javier Bardem's Beautiful movie. Disc is not inside though. Bonus materials for Indiana Jones. I should watch these. They're probably pretty interesting. Star Wars Episode 5. Disc is still in here. Looks pretty good. Star Wars Episode 5, yeah, it's by far the best Star Wars movie. You can't even argue it. There's a PlayStation 4 game in here. Resident Evil Revelations. This is my brother's. I don't know anything about video games, so I apologize, guys. But this one slipped into the package. Rebound! Haha, with Martin Lawrence. I remember this movie. I bought it at a pharmacy. The disc is not inside, though. And the cover is very much garbage at this point. I remember this movie quite fondly because when I was growing up, I had a big basketball phase. I was on the primary school's basketball team, and I was like, oh man, I was so obsessed with basketball. So yeah, I was at the pharmacy and I saw this movie, and I saw Martin Lawrence, and he kind of looked familiar. And he was like, oh, Martin Lawrence basketball movie. Mom, can you buy it? And she bought it. Yeah, probably not a really good movie. It's one of those movies you see as a kid and then completely forget about, and then you pop it in and you're like, wow, this was shit. I watched it as a kid. Anywho, it's got its charm, I guess. The Santa Claus 2. Somehow, I had the Santa Claus 2, and I've never fucking seen Santa Claus 1, but I watched the shit out of Santa Claus 2. Santa Claus 2, the plot is that they make a toy Santa Claus, and he starts taking over the North Pole. Yeah, that's all I remember from the movie. I got a Harry Potter video game for PC. The box is empty. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. This Indiana Jones movie in specific, I used to watch this one a lot because I really liked Short Round. Indiana Jones was teamed up with a kid, and yeah, that kind of made me enjoy Temple of Doom more as a kid. But my dad always used to skip the part where the guy rips the other guy's heart out. He always used to skip that part when I was a kid because he thought it was too graphic. So one day, when he was off to work, I snuck the DVD, put it in the DVD player, and watched the scene where the guy got his heart ripped out. And holy balls, that was glorious. Batman Begins, I have it on Blu-ray, so I don't need the DVD anymore. I'm not that big into Batman Begins, to be honest. A lot of people like it. It's not... I don't like it as much. I'm weird. A lot of people like Batman Begins and Dark Knight and hate Dark Knight Rises. I like Dark Knight Rises more than most people. And I hate Batman Begins more than most people. The problem I have with Batman Begins is the shaky cam. I can't stand it. Katie Holmes, I didn't like her as the love interest. And I didn't like Maggie Gyllenhaal in the second movie. The love interest in here was kind of bad. And that's always something I didn't like about Christopher Nolan. Whenever there's a female character in a Christopher Nolan movie, they tend to suck. That's just an observation I had. Come at me, internet. More PlayStation games in here. There's, NHL 15. The one that just fell was another NHL game. I'll give that to my brother. The Master. This is, I had seen The Master before watching this on DVD. I actually watched it in theaters, I believe. But, yeah, I really like this movie. I think this is actually my favorite PTA movie. Let's see if the DVD is inside. DVD. Why are the DVDs not inside of these? NHL 14. My brother loves NHL video games. Iron Man 2, like I said, I bought all of the Marvel movies on DVD so I can catch up. I can't remember Iron Man 2, quite honestly. I remember there's a part where Iron Man fights, and they play the song by Queen, Another One Bites the Dust, and I thought that was kind of cringe, not gonna lie. But DVD is not in the case. Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Again, it comes in one of those shitty, flimsy cardboard box DVD cases. I want to buy all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies on Blu-ray. Sorry, there's a beautiful combo pack that has all of them up until all of the classic ones. I don't think the Michael Bay remake is in it. But... Men in Black. Yeah, Men in Black. This is a great movie. Absolutely great movie. Who made the score of this movie? I remember the score of this movie is very memorable. I want to say it was Danny Elfman. Yeah, the Danny Elfman score. Will Smith This was probably the best Will Smith action movie from his like big boom in the 90s, in my opinion. Him working off of Tommy Lee Jones. And I like the DVD, they write Mr. Smith and Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones and me. Yeah, I really like Men in Black. And actually, you know what? A lot of people hate on Men in Black 3. I always loved that movie. I thought Men in Black 3 was a good movie. I don't like Men in Black 2, though. Men in Black 2 was Braveheart, DVD is not in the case. I'm not that big into Braveheart 2, if I'm being quite honest. A lot of people love Braveheart. This is a perfectly functioning Blu-ray of Dark Knight Rises. I am not giving that up. Alright, $1 Million Baby. I remember watching this movie. It's not my favorite Clint Eastwood movie. A lot of people say this is his best movie. I think Gran Torino is his best movie. I love Gran Torino.
Did you hear me? I said get off my lawn now.
Are you fucking crazy? Go back in the house.
Yeah, I blow a hole in your face and then I go in the house. And I sleep like a baby. You can count on that.
We used to stack fucks like you 10 feet tall back in Korea. Use you as sandbags.
That's my Clint Eastwood impression. I also like the part where he meets John Carroll Lynch. John Carroll Lynch plays a barber in this movie, and they do racist jokes to each other. I kind of like this movie, the movie Gran Torino. It's charming, but as for $1 Million Baby, it's alright. Yeah, it's alright. It's Clint Eastwood movie. It's Clint Eastwood doing Clint Eastwood. The Promotion with John C. Reilly and Sean William Scott. I probably picked up this movie thinking it was going to be like Role Models, because I really liked Role Models when it came out. It was like, oh, The Promotion, I'll pick this up on DVD. And this movie was very unfunny. It was kind of like a drama almost. Yeah. Paris, Je t'aime. I actually never saw this movie. City of Angels. My mom actually picked this one up at the Arab market. You know when you go to an Arab market and they sell a bunch of illegal DVDs? I think she picked it up, tried the DVD, it didn't work, so she got gypped. This is my brother's video game, Until Dawn. I actually played this one with him. If I'm not mistaken, this is a video game that's a movie. Oh yes, I remember, I did play this one. And it was with Rami Malek was in the video game. And also the guy from Fargo. I keep forgetting his name. But, yeah, it was like a choose-your-own-adventure movie, and I played it with my brother. We did, like, a movie night with this movie. Or a video game, rather. Yeah. It was pretty bad, but... NHL 2K9, alright. Night of the Living Dead. I remember I wanted to watch the classic Night of the Living Dead, and, the problem with Night of the Living Dead is that it's a public domain movie. So if you try buying it on DVD, you're probably going to get gypped because anyone can take Night of the Living Dead and put it on the DVD. And usually it's going to come in a very shit quality. So your best bet would probably to get this on Criterion because you know those guys are trustworthy. On the other hand, the people who published this DVD in specific is a company called Cheesy Flicks. So... yeah, the quality of this DVD was very poor. NHL 19. I think my brother got every fucking NHL game since 2009 because I keep picking them up. The original Iron Man. Let's see the DVD. It's one of those DVDs that have the little doors. Let's see what the DVD looks like. Is it scratched? No, it looks like it's okay. The original Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man is the best Iron Man. That said, I don't really like the original Iron Man. You kind of watch it now and it's kind of bleh. I feel like the first 2 acts are really good and just that third act really dragged the movie down. Another Family Guy. Batman Begins on Blu-ray. Oh, there we go. I don't need to upgrade it. We already have it. Mask. I always thought Mask wasn't a true story. When I was a kid and I watched it, I didn't realize it was a true story. I thought it was just like some kind of fable or analogy, like, oh, you should be nice to people even if they're ugly. But yeah, it turns out it is a real story. There was a real Rocky Dennis. My dad is a huge Cher fan, so he made me watch a bunch of Cher movies. I watched this and I watched Moonstruck when I was pretty young. Yeah. Dogville, I actually never watched Dogville because I always pop it in and it's kind of like a stage play and I'm never in the mood for that. But I do realize I need to watch this movie, but I just need to be in the right mood. Have a couple of Nintendo Wii games. There's Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, which I never played, Twilight Princess, which I also never played, and Super Paper Mario, which I also never played. For all my brothers. Harry Potter video game, which I never played as well. I'm not much of a gamer, guys. I apologize, but when there is a video game I've played, I'll let you know. Star Wars Attack of the Clones, probably the worst Star Wars movie by far. That's even including the sequels. I really hate this movie. Shadow of the Colossus. This is my brother's. I've never played Shadow of the Colossus. The first season of The Muppets on DVD. What can I say? I like The Muppets. Yes! This is what I'm talking about. Black Dynamite. What can I say about Black Dynamite? Well, to whoever says that the last good parody movie to come out was Scary Movie, I will tell them to take a good look at Black Dynamite, because Black Dynamite is a classic film. I love Black Dynamite, and I watched this when I was pretty young, and I had no clue what blaxploitation movies were. And this movie made me discover blaxploitation movies and made me interested in blaxploitation movies. Because I saw this, I remember I was scrolling through channels and I scrolled through and I hit Black Dynamite. And it was the scene where Black Dynamite is fucking 3 women at the same time. And I was like, holy shit, this movie is awesome. But I had to keep scrolling because I was with my parents and I couldn't watch such an inappropriate movie. But that always stuck with me, and then I saw the DVD, and I was like, that's the fucking movie where the guy was having sex with 3 women. And then I watched the movie, and I was like, I didn't really get it at first. I just thought it was like some cheesy movie. And I was like, oh, okay, it's a parody of blaxploitation. And then I went to see blaxploitation movies. I watch this movie now, and I truly like this movie. It's a really good movie, and I'm a big fan of the movies it's parodying. NHL 18. Ah, yes, the classic Daredevil with Ben Affleck. You know what? A lot of people don't like this movie. I'll defend this movie. I think Daredevil with Ben Affleck is actually pretty good. It has a very emo style to it. It has a very edgy emo style. It was kind of trying to like jump on the success of The Matrix. It has a lot in common with The Matrix. Even his costume is like tight leather. Yeah. Wake me up inside, can't wake up, wake me up inside. It was very emo, but I kind of like it. Ah, yes, okay. Lilo and Stitch. Probably one of the best Disney animated movies. I love Lilo and Stitch. It's such a weird movie. There was like this weird phase where the Disney animated movies were really trying something different. There was this movie, around the same time, there was Princess and the Frog. There was that shitty Home on the Range movie. Like, there was the tail end of the Disney animated movies, 2D animated that is. There's some pretty odd movies that came out of it. And some were good, like Lilo and Stitch, and others weren't, like Home on the Range, I guess. Was that Disney or DreamWorks? I can't even remember. But Lilo and Stitch is actually a very quality movie. Now, oh man, that scene where everyone cries. You know the scene. Stitch is lost in the woods and he's like,
Lost.
I love Lilo and Stitch. Probably one of my favorite Disney animated movies, actually. Definitely top 5. NHL 17. I told you there's going to be all the NHL games in here. NHL 2K10. A loose DVD. Oh, gotta be careful here. A loose DVD of NHL 16. Harry Potter. I talk a lot about the Harry Potter movies in my Harry Potter marathon. This is a pretty cool DVD. You kind of open it like this and then like that. I miss the days where DVD cases were creative like this. Blu-ray, they just come in a normal case. They kind of get repetitive after a while. Minus the Criterion ones. Cool Hand Luke. This is my drama teacher as well who gave me this movie, I think. But I love this movie. This is a classic movie.
What we got here is failure to communicate.
Yes, and I opened it, and my drama teacher actually put a note in this one. He says, Paul, you had a phenomenal year, he says. Thanks for your energy, talent, and passion. This is one of the best films ever made featuring one of my favorite actors. I hope you enjoy it. This one's from my drama teacher. I'm actually going to keep this note. This is a cute note. I'm actually going to keep this whole DVD. Sentimental value. I'm going to put it up here. Whoop! Yeah, there's an invisible drawer you can't see. That's up here. Where I put all my souvenirs. Here's the case for Inglourious Bastards. And inside the case is Family Guy. I'm going to have to sort this one out. This is interesting. This is like the booklet that came with it, Jackie Brown. And it just has every actor and their filmography in it, which is kind of interesting. It's basically like IMDb, I guess. But, yeah, and there's also a letter from Elmer Leonard, who wrote the novel Rum Punch, which was the inspiration of this movie. Yeah, and they have, like, what songs play in this movie. Yes, the movie opens with that great song, Across 110th Street. Cabin Fever. I remember I watched this. This was one of the first movies I watched. I bought this DVD when I first moved to Maine, and somehow it landed here. Cabin Fever. Yeah, what can I say about it? It's very nasty. And there's a quote from Peter Jackson on the cover. An unrelenting, gruesome, funny bloodbath, and I loved it. Peter Jackson said that about this movie. I do really like this movie. I especially like the the ending of this movie, where he says, "This is for my N-words." There's like an N-word joke in it. I can't really do it justice because you kind of have to say the word out loud, and I'm too young to get canceled, so fuck that. The Day After Tomorrow scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. This is basically one of those disaster porn movies. Yeah. Roland Emmerich. I'm probably never going to watch this movie ever again because it's Roland Emmerich. Shots fired. The Exorcist 3. I didn't like The Exorcist 3 when I first watched it. And then, like, as time goes by, I hear people really praise the movie Exorcist 3, and it makes me want to revisit Exorcist 3. Now, I'm not going to revisit it on DVD. If I do so, it's going to be on Blu-ray, but nonetheless. And it does have my favorite actor in it, George C. Scott. I love George C. Scott. He's such a hammy guy, but I love him. More Family Guy. A compilation of the greatest moments in NHL history. On the cover, you have Steve Yzerman, Patrick Roy, you got Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, and I can't recognize this guy. Yeah, I like how on the back there's Sidney Crosby, and then right next to Sidney Crosby, there's Andrei Kostitsyn, who is a player no one remembers because there's anyone. And the DVD inside is The Grinch, so that's good. We found The Grinch. It was in the hockey movie. The Legend, The Chronicles of Narnia. This was a big movie when I was a kid. I remember everyone at my high school, or not my high school rather, at my elementary school watched this movie because it was riding off the success of Harry Potter. Yeah. Oh, and I like the DVD. The DVD is just the wardrobe itself. Yeah. Yeah, my dad really liked this movie. I remember, if I remember correctly, I even saw it in cinemas. And I think what my dad liked about this movie is that it had a lot of kind of Christian themes to it. Which, looking back at it, it kind of did it pretty well. Where, what was the line called? Well, Liam Neeson was the lie in this movie. He kind of acts like a Jesus character. And then the witch is kind of like a Satan character. So my dad liked it because it was like a pseudo-Christian movie. And, yeah, I can kind of respect the movie for that. I like movies that take not just the Bible, but Greek mythology and kind of retells it, because those are stories that are pretty much immortalized. Reservoir Dogs, like I said, I had a big Tarantino phase. Yeah, it's written, don't forget, tip your waitress on the DVD. Next, there's a perfectly good Blu-ray copy of Watchmen. I don't know how this landed here. I'm giving away DVDs, not Blu-rays. And then, finally, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I think this is my favorite Indiana Jones movie, just because of Sean Connery. I love the fact that Sean Connery had sex with the love interest in this movie. And he was like, she had sex with you? He doesn't say that in the movie, but there's this little clever moment where the two characters realize they had sex with the same woman. Yeah, what can I say? I love this movie. Indy, you're named after a dog! Ha ha! My impression of Sean Connery is basically the one from SNL. And that's all the DVDs. Alright, I'm gonna have to sort these all out, but thanks for tuning in, guys, and yeah, I'm gonna have to sell these off now.